Hello everyone, welcome back to another stream. Deadline stream a bit later today, as you can see. Before people start coming in, we've changed the display a small bit. I wanted to mix it up, and we've only gone and done it. So good to see so many in chat so early on. Of course, we are an hour and a half before the deadline, so we will change that script real quick. Um, 92 minutes, perfect. And let me know where you're coming from. I assume a lot of you would have been watching the likes of Oscar, Harry, Raptor, Let's Talk FPL, Mate, whoever you're coming from, let me know. And thank you for joining me. Let me know what you think of the display. I think it needed a mix up personally. I'm quite happy with it. Let me make your guys' chat a bit bigger as well so you can see what is going on. Let me alter that 2 seconds, guys. Sorry. Okay, I think we're sweet. Perfect. So yeah, in front of you I've got my team. I don't really know which direction I'm going to go. If anyone was listening to Above Average FPL, I spoke about it quite a bit with Adam and Baker. And I really don't know. And I'm not just saying this for the sake of the stream. By the way, another massive green arrow last week. We gained 700k places, I want to say, which was absolutely massive. I know I keep saying it, and it's another step in the right direction. Of course, we're not where we want to be, though. But I don't doubt if we continue in this vein of form, you can only make your decisions on a weekly basis, and you're slowly going to climb up the ranks. So, good to see everyone in chat. Roger McSweeney, Fruit Plug, 1974 as usual. NX, we got Sharif, Yoki, Bernard, the GOAT is back. Sodnika is watching from Barcelona. Barcelona, lovely place. Peter Dunphy is in Belfast. Rogers in Limerick. 1974 says, congratulations, Trump. Do you fancy a hit for a Man U defender? I don't think I fancy a hit for a United defender. I think in general it's not bad, but for a hit, it's a bit much for me. Restock is in chat. He says, yo, Choi. Christian says he's also currently on the SOLANKE Captaincy, so that's another one that will be a big talking point in this stream. I'm not set on it. I'm not sold completely. I definitely like it though. That is for sure. I don't know where this pop-out chat has gone. Let me bring that back up because the chat is not refreshing, I don't think. Actually, no, it is fine. Where are we? Tiny Fungus says, Son or Salah captain, FPL cheese. I would be going Salah, personally. I think for the pure sheer reason I've got what's his name? I've got Son to play about 75 minutes. I think I probably much prefer Salah, I'd say. I'm trying to just make chat look a bit better because as you can see the messages are a bit cut off, but I promise I'll try read them out, even though you might be able to see the display perfectly. Apologies, I'll get that fixed next chat. I can't remember what I've done. But yeah, so let's speak about Son and Salah. For me, it's easily Salah. I think down to the minutes, purely. Expect Son to get around 70 to 75 minutes. Ange Postecoglou done a presser yesterday, about 11 hours ago. I watched it this morning just to reiterate over some points. And he was saying, you know, he's slowly trying to get Son back into the mix. 55 minutes in that first game since the relapse of his injury. And then, of course, midweek, 45 minutes. And the way he was speaking, he was saying slowly integrating him back in. So I can't imagine he gets any more than 75. I'd be very surprised. So that's where I stand on Son. Again, I think Son could do some serious damage in the space of 70-75 minutes. But when I compare it to Salah at home to Villa, who's on this rich run of form, I don't know. It's tight. Choi, I love your accent, says Charlie. Thank you, Charlie. Restock says, yo, Choi, good morning, good morning, good morning. Bernard says, would you sell DCL and bring in Kuna or wait a week? So for me, I think if you can make the move, I'll get rid of DCL. I think a large part of that is him not being seen in training. And there was skepticism about DCL being dropped for Beto anyway. So I would say if you've nothing else to do, I'd be more than happy to make that move this week. By the way, just to clear the air, Kuna is a small bit overrated. I feel like a lot of people own him. He's in the thumbnail today, but he's definitely a good option. It's just a small bit overrated for sure. I'm more than happy to own him though. If you look at the projected goals, which we will bring up in a second after I go through some more of your guys' chat, but basically he's not even close to anywhere near high on the list for projected goals. Greetings from Amsterdam, says Bernard. How I like you reading my name and then realizing it's not Werter. Yeah, it's a tough name to go by, but we'll just call you NX. Choi's cooking. Yeah, so let's see. Of course, we have how many weeks left? About 27 game weeks left now. 1.5 million. This is the worst thing in the world, considering like we missed a few Haaland hat-tricks and 10 goals in the first 5 games. I don't think so. I'm not worried. I really need Palmer to play through plug. Well, yeah, so I just don't think you're in a position, if you own Palmer, to get rid of him. You're of course not bringing him in because you're skeptical of him whether or not he's going to play. Will Lewis start, says Sharif. I'm unsure. I think it's still likelier than not he can play potentially left back and invert into midfield. I think you probably want Walker marking Mitoma, in my opinion. Mitoma is the man who can do damage for Brighton, and he's been on some serious form this season, so I'd be very shocked to not see Walker, but it doesn't mean Lewis can't play left back. Tony Fungus says, alright, I want to see what you would choose so I know to do the opposite. Thanks, Shy. No problem, Tony Fungus. Dylan Hudson says, morning. Liam, of course, what's up, Shy? Good to be back. Yeah, no, it is good to be back. Of course, the last stream before the international break. By the way, for anyone that's just after joining us, let us know what you think of the display. I'm just sick of using the green screen, I'm not going to lie. Derek O'Reilly, of course, is in chat. Come on, you Spurs. Naeem says 75 minutes. I think so too. So, Thomas asks a good question. Kuna, Raul, and Jackson bench one. I feel like I'll be benching Raul. Again, I don't know where that comes from, but that's just my initial thought. John Boltman, of course, Gianni Batici's Ultra member. Good to see you in here as usual. Ben Shelton says, who is the best 4.5 midfielder defender? You know what? One that's not being spoke about is Levi Colwill. I think he comes in at 4.5, 4.6. I think it's when you consider the fixture set. And Chelsea don't look too bad at all. I just think he's probably worth a risk like that. Again, it's not really a risk though, because you're paying 4.5 million. Good to see my dad, by the way, in chat. Sam Choi, I know you're out there watching. By the way, for anyone that doesn't know, I've got my dad into FPL this year. He absolutely loves it. On a weekly basis, he's asking me what to do. And he doesn't listen to me, and he's making his own moves, and it's just in our blood. That's what we do. Andy says, Choi, we are massive for now. And then Chris Wood. Will Maddison start? You know what? I think the general consensus from most Spurs fans is that he won't start. For me, I do think he is going to start. I think this is a good opportunity to say, from Ange's point of view, look, James, like, I'm going to start you. It's Ipswich at home. It's a good time for you to get back in the team. And again, you mightn't look at it like that, but when I look at maybe the game state of that fixture, you expect Spurs to have maybe 65% plus of the ball, of course, if we're on it. And Maddison on his day isn't too often, but you know how good he can be, and you feel like a fixture like this, it would suit him very well. So yeah, that's where I stand on Maddison. I do think he's more likely to start than not tomorrow. Do you think Isak's a good option? Absolutely, Ferrari. And he's one I'm considering for Kai Havertz. The only reason I've not done it is because Kai Havertz plays against his old team, Chelsea. He got 74 minutes the last time around he played him, and he scored 2 goals. So that's looming somewhere in my mind. It doesn't really make sense when you consider the poor form of Arsenal, the little potential knock on Havertz. But I think he should be fine to start. And for me, he's just not worth a transfer just yet. Especially with Forest next week. I know on paper they've been quite good defensively, but again, this is Arsenal. And if they want to be anywhere near the top of the table, these are the fixtures they need to win. And we've seen them do it for the last 2 seasons now. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a big win versus Chelsea this week. But yeah, going back to Isak, sorry. Yeah, I do feel like Isak at some point will be on a lot of content creators' minds. He's not one that's being talked about currently, but I do feel like a lot of people will eventually start to own him again. Adam Sousa, sorry I can't get back to all your questions, by the way, but hopefully when I speak a bit generally, we'll touch off pieces. So, what's happening, Choi, says Adam Sousa. Good luck this game week. We've got to keep the WhatsApp chat more active. Much love, excited for the stream. Adam, I really appreciate you popping in as usual. Apologies for the inactivity. Be sure to pop something in. Like, for me, it's always been busy with college. I'm sure you're up to date now because you're in these streams on a weekly basis. But I'll definitely keep that in mind. And apologies, but don't be shy. Be sure to put something in chat, and I'll always get back to it. Jackson to Isaac now. I don't mind them, man. If you can make that move and you've nothing else to do, no other conundrums to worry about, then you're good. I heard your dad is a higher rank than you. I wouldn't quite say that, but maybe a few more FPL choice streams, he might be back in the mix. Tanky says, play Madison, bench DCL, sell Madison to Bruno, roll, get Isaac and Rodgers for free. Thanks for your legendary content. Come on, you Spurs. For me, I think the safe thing is to bring in Bruno. Again, the risky play is Madison. But that is tough. It's hard to make a decision after that. I think I would just go to Bruno. Even knowing that Madison has the potential to start and do well, I feel like Bruno could equally do as well. Captain Sunshine. Yeah, MFZ. It's not quite for me. I think if I have Solanke and Sonny, I'm going with Solanke. Again, another thing I spoke about quite a bit on above average FPL for anyone that listened is the pen share for Solanke is about 20 minutes. For anyone that doesn't know what that means is if Son is subbed off in the 70th minute, of course that leaves Dominic Solanke with penalties. And most goals in games are scored in the end of the game. And Spurs don't get penalties, I know, but you never know. You just never know. Hudson-Odoi to Saka or Calvert-Lewin to Isaac. I think you kind of have to ride the wave. I want to say Hudson-Odoi, not like he's done exceptional, but actually no, I would just do Hudson-Odoi to Isaac and maybe give Calvert-Lewin another week. Darsha says, Choi, do you think a better option, a better captain, Son or Solanke? So yeah, I've touched off that. I think it is Solanke. Good luck to your bro. Again, I'm gonna have to skip a few questions here. I like to keep the chat up to date. Adam Sousa says, no, it's not you personally or anything. Just in general, I want to post more too. You're a busy guy. Hope uni's going well. Yeah. So, actually, touching off this uni thing. I'm after digging into FPL optimized, FPL review. My boys, Spiros' AI. Just having a look at how they function. Some of the characteristics that make them good, I would say. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, all this looking at these AI models. Like I said, it's going to add a new level to my game. I am Grass FC and I'm not analytics. I take the best from both worlds. But from my point of view, I always make my own decisions. And I don't run anything through an AI. So my game is going to completely change. Whether that's for the better or worse, I don't know. I suppose we'll find out soon enough. But it's going to be interesting. Just came here, Sunrock says, to say good luck. Thank you, Sunrock. Appreciate you. What do you think about 8 Nori Cap, says Jimmy B. I don't love it, man. Southampton are not a bad attacking team, especially when you consider how poor Wolves have been in recent weeks. So I would be nowhere near that personally. Would you say Fabianski is nailed? No, I wouldn't say anywhere near nailed. Good stream choice, says Eddie Casey. Good to see as usual. 1RXC says Palmer to Son, then next week Son back to Palmer. Wasted ? I think if you have the likes of a Rodgers on the bench, I just think you might get that 2 points off him off the bench. So I don't think Palmer either plays or he doesn't. I can't imagine he gets any minutes off the bench. I'd be very surprised. Paul says Lewis is out from what you heard. Speaking of Lewis, let's do a cheeky scroll on Twitter like we usually do. No Solanke, I have only Salah and Son. Who would you captain, says Jens. I would easily be on Salah in that case. Alright, let's do a cheeky scroll to see if we can get anything. Looks like my boy FPL Fran is already locked in the early days. 626k in the world. What an absolute beast, by the way. One of my favourite managers, easily. I know I speak about it nearly every stream, but he doesn't get enough props in my opinion, and of course amazing content. Love that midfield of Salah and Buemo, Son and Palmer. I feel like you could almost forget about that for the season and it's going to return with points. Let's go to Liam, a often member in our streams, and he does a predicted Liverpool lineup every single week. He's gone with Kelleher, Trent, Konate, Virgil, Shimikas, Gravenberch, McAllister, Luis Diaz, Szoboszlai, Salah and Darwin. I don't think we'd see anything different from that. I can't imagine. So I would say that's fairly spot on. It's something similar that I would make too. Anyway, let's go back to the timeline, refresh a few pages to see what we're saying. Let's start actually before we carry on with a poll. Let's do who's the best captain this week. Of course, it will be fairly split. It really depends who you own. Of course, we'll go Erling Haaland, Mohamed Salah, and then let's just say Son / Solanke. Again, I don't think Son is by far the better captaincy option. I just think he's the right one, if that makes sense. So, do vote on that poll while you're there. Please hit that like button. It gets us out there as usual. And we will continue to scavenge Twitter to see if we can get any information about who's going to play. If you're asking me, I'm going to say Salah's going to win this poll. And while we're at it, actually, let's have a look at Rob T, an absolute GOAT in the community. He's updated his player probability of scoring. Let's take a look at it. So, projected goals, of course, leading the line, Erling Haaland at 0.75, over a 53% chance of scoring 1+ goal. Next, my man Dominic Solanke, 0.68. Next on the list, 0.66, Heung-min Son. I do think this graphic provides minutes. Again, don't quote me on that. But interesting to see Solanke over Mohamed Salah also. One thing to note on this, I wouldn't just blatantly look at this and go Solanke is better than Salah in this case. Reason being because we know how good Salah is in moments. And also for bonus points. If you consider the bonus points, that 0.03 chance of Solanke per goal probably doesn't equate to the bonus point system for Salah. So take it with a grain of salt when going with who you're going to choose. Next on the list, of course, Darwin Núñez, who I almost brought in last week. Thankfully, I didn't. And then I almost said Erling Haaland. He wishes. Rasmus Højlund next on the list, 0.51. In a fixture where I do think United are going to do quite well. So, interesting to also see Strand Larsen. When you look at between Wood and Strand Larsen, there's not much between them. And it's also the same between Kuna and Højlund and Wood. You know, it is in that 0.3-ish range. So, yeah. How many of these do I own on this list? I've got Solanke, I've got Salah, and I've got Garnacho. It's not great, is it? Of course, CP not here. You would assume he would be here if he was fully fit. Again, not quite sure how it takes it into account, but definitely interesting. Semenyo or Diaz, says Namith. I think I would be inclined to start Diaz. Salah is Mr. Reliable, absolutely, and that's why I think the risk is definitely going Solanke. Jose says, having doubt about Maddison, should I get Bruno? Was thinking if selling Maddison after this week either anyway. Yeah, I would just sell him this week. That way you get that fixture for United next week. Looks good. Hi, Chai. Any news on McNeil? Nothing fresh that I can give you. Do I expect him to start? I'm unsure. I'd be wrong to give an answer because I really don't know. Boar says, FPL Chai, Havertz to Højlund, a differential move. What are your thoughts? I think if I have the money in Havertz, I much prefer to go to an Isaac, a player of probably higher caliber, whereas you're going into more of a grey area with Højlund. It's interesting because people are a bit skeptical on Højlund, rightly so, but from my own perspective, I've seen Xerxes play, and I do see Højlund getting the next 3, and even when Amaran comes in, I can't see Xerxes solidifying a spot in that team when Rasmus Højlund is fit. And Højlund is a really good striker. I do think he does need some time. He needs some time, and these are some good fixtures for him. And, you know, Van Nistelrooy is going to come out into these games telling the boys, play for the badge. And when you play for the badge, it means goals, hopefully. And it's decent fixtures. So I don't mind the Højlund move. It's actually not bad. But I think I do prefer an Isaac. Now, of course, when you look at this list, not in the Forest for Isaac, you probably do prefer Højlund for this week and in the next week. But I think over the long term, Isaac is probably our man. I'm sick of my rank, Captain Mbuemo. Fair. See, these are little things that can go your way, though. It doesn't always have to be logical. Do I advise Captain Mbuemo? Not necessarily, but again, He's a player that's on fire this year, and you just wouldn't be surprised to see another haul. Paul Krashitsa, welcome to A Cup of Chai. For anyone that doesn't know, if you want to support the channel, I don't gatekeep anything. I'm as open to everyone as I can be. The one thing you do get from becoming a member is, obviously, I'll try to get to as many of your questions as possible. Another perk, though, is that, Paul, if you DM me, I will add you to the WhatsApp group. Again, it's not any top secret information. It's just, if you have any questions about your own team, I'm more than happy to spend time, if you're supporting the channel, to get back to you. Again, it's not something you have to do, but I really appreciate it, Paul, and welcome to the family. Bench Mikalenko, or I don't know who Walking Chai. I don't know who Walking is. Keane says, Chai, I'm cooked. Forced to start Rico Lewis. I have 2 defense injuries and have Palmer and DCL. Yeah, no, that's a tough space to be in. I think you have to hold on to Lewis and Palmer, in my opinion. I would say you could probably move on DCL. If it's for a hit, though, maybe not. You just probably hope that he plays. He says, 1 free transfer. What's the main train of thought? Have Rodgers if Palmer's not playing. Okay, that's good. If you have Rodgers, if Palmer's not going to play, then I would just move on DCL and just hope that Lewis plays. Anish, another channel member in here. Do you think Garnacho is going to start, considering Ahmed's performance in the midweek? Yeah, this is another thing that I don't agree with. And again, I'm not to say I'm right. Like, I just go off my own opinions, and it's good to have conflicting interests with maybe other fans or people in the community. From my own perspective, and again, you might call this a bit biased because I own Garnacho. But again, I own him for a reason. And the reason I brought him in is because I really did feel like he was a bit of the life that was in this really poor United team in that struggling period of 1 to 9. Of course, we didn't see him in the earlier fixtures due to the late entry from Argentina since the start of the season, and he missed pre-season. But when we got to between 6 and 9, I really did feel like he was a focal point of the team. Bruno wasn't playing at his best. Of course, you have your striker who was just coming back from injury. And Rashford isn't at his best either. When I went to that game at Old Trafford with Spurs, of course, we won 3-0. But in that second half, Garnacho kind of ran Pedro Porro ragged when he was playing off the left. Don't get me wrong, Amad Diallo, there's a lot of hype about him. And I do think he's a good player. He's young, and he does deserve a chance. But for me, from my own perspective, he's after playing midweek. If this is any other player, for example, like imagine Mikey Moore, I want to say, alright. He comes in and he has an unreal performance midweek against not a great team. I wouldn't think too much about it. And I just think it's the hype around Ahmed. Don't get me wrong, it's very good, but I feel like Garnacho has to play. And especially, you don't want to be tampering too much with the team and upsetting players before the new boss comes in. That's just my own opinion. Again, I could be completely wrong. And I do, from my understanding from seeing clips, the relationship between Van Nistelrooy and Ten Hag and Garnacho was quite good. You've seen it when the likes of Garnacho post something on Instagram saying, you know, apologies boss and thank you for coming or whatever. And then the hugs and kisses near end of the games with Ten Hag. So I do feel like Garnacho in the camp is liked. Now, I can't tell you any more than that, and probably expect a Diallo start at this point, but that's just my opinion. Thank you for the question, Anish. Who we got? Let me go back to Paul. Paul says, hi Chai, Salah needs 1 goal to pick up max bonus. He's just amazing. Yeah, so that's the thing. It's the little things. It's the little things with Salah. It's just, he sparks up in moments. He could play absolutely doo-doo for 85 minutes in the game, and he'll just pass the ball off to someone who is class, and they'll hang a top corner, and suddenly he's on for bonus points, and then he'll pick up a late goal in the game, and suddenly he's on for a 12-pointer. So again, thank you, Paul, for joining the team. I really appreciate it. Send me on your number on Twitter, DM me, and I will add you to the group. FPL Doctor is also in here. He says, morning Chai, I have Son and Haaland and captaining Son. Thoughts? So Doctor, if you just missed it, I'm more inclined to go with a Solanke. Again, I don't mind the Son move. I just think if you're happy with 70 minutes, by all means go for it. Good to see you, of course, though. Choi, what are your opinions on starting Hall, Keane or Howard Bellis? This is a tough one. I think you have to go Hall. Again, I probably wouldn't be expecting the most from any of them though. Frank says, hi Choi, who would you bench out of these? Semenyo, Wood, Havertz and Madison. Fuck. That is tough. So what you're saying is Semenyo and Wood, who are on form, versus Havertz and Madison, who are struggling. You know what? I think I would play Chris Wood. I assume you can only bench one. I would bench Semenyo. I would play Chris Wood, Havertz, and Madison. Madison for the risk. Havertz because it's his old club. And again, we make our own narratives. It's probably not the best thing to do, but it's what I would do. Paul, no problem, man. Where are we? Roger McSweeney has also become a member of A Cup of Chai. Welcome, Roger, to the gang. Again, of course, be sure to DM me your number and we'll get you in the group chat. I really appreciate it. By the way, let me close off this poll. 40% of people, very divided. Interesting to see 30% on Haaland, 33% on Salah, and the majority, 39% on Son Solanke. Maybe it's because there's two players, of course, in that. Maliki, my boy Maliki Fox, who has been with us for quite a while now. Where are we? He says, hit the subscribe button for Choi's hard work. Maliki, I actually need to get you in my group chat regardless of you becoming a channel member because you've been around, my man. So I'll get you added in. Be sure to DM me on Twitter if you have it, of course. And if not, put it in the Ultras group chat in Janny's and I'll get you in. This is a good point from my moderator, George. He says, Garnacho has been terrible for the last 2 or 3 games, though. You're right. But when we say terrible, what I think of is he's getting chances. He's just not converting. And he's getting in good areas. He's just not providing. That doesn't turn me off a player like Garnacho, though, because it's everything you want in an asset. He's doing everything but put the ball in the net or providing someone. And you just feel like if he's going to start again in a fixture like this, I can't get rid of him. Start Welbeck or Semenyo? This is a tough one. I think I'll start Semenyo. By the way, how good has Welbeck been? Fucking hell. Get the likes up, people. Thank you, Jay. DCL to Isaac. Already got Solanke and Kuno. Yes. The name change is done. Thanks, FPL Choi. This is the first week in a while I feel like my team is a mess. Yeah, there's a few really good managers this week that don't have a great team. By the way, apologies for sticking on this graphic. Let me get to my own team. For anyone that's listening, I assume not everyone has the opportunity to watch it. I'll run through the team real quick. Ederson, Lewis, Trent, Aït-Nouri, Mbeumo, Garnacho, Palmer and Mo Salah, Kuna, Havertz and Solanke. A good thing to note is that we've got 8 home fixtures. Again, take that of what as you will. That means we had 8 away fixtures last week, and of course we had a green arrow. So I'm hopeful of this week. Again, it really depends on Palmer minutes, Havertz minutes, Lewis minutes, whatever. But I think we're looking good. Today is the day to keep faith with Haaland. Yeah, I think if I had Haaland, I'd be captaining him, to be honest. And that is the exact reason I don't own him, because I wanted to have the opportunity to put the armband elsewhere. FPL Shane says, up to Dacia. Which Shane is this? And let me know if you know me personally. Good to see you, Shane, though. Thank you for joining us. Since many are selling Haaland, he's going to score at least 2 goals now. Yeah, you know the drill. It would be no surprise, but we just hope over the long run with the likes of Mohamed Salah last week that it lasts and we outweigh him over a few fixtures. Malky, send me on your number, by the way. And another person who is always in here, Liam, I don't know if you're in here, but also Chewy FPL, he says, am I crazy for Captain and Mbeumo? Chewy FPL, DM me your number. You're another guy I need to get in because you're a frequent member to the channel, and the more the merrier. It's good to have other ultras to chat. You don't have to subscribe to become an ultra member, but if you want to support me, you're more than welcome, and I really appreciate it. Sorry, let me get back to your question, Chewy. Am I crazy for Captain and Mbeumo? Yes. Simple as. Yes. Is it wrong? No. Nervous ahead of game week 11? Yeah. I'm not nervous this week. I'm actually fairly sure of my own team. I just hope it does better than I expected to do, because in recent weeks I feel like I've had a good team. It's just been a small bit underwhelming. Tony Fungus says, where's the green screen? I opted not to use the green screen today. It annoys me, man. It's just a bit awkward. I record near a window, and you have this big ass circle, and it's like in the way, and it's hitting off my drinks, and the color from the green screen, because obviously it's green, it hits off my face, and the lighting is messed up because it blocks the window. It's just a load of little things. I hope you don't mind though. I actually think this display is quite nice. Trent's got his new Predators on for a top bin free kick incoming, says Mackham. Mackham, I hope you're right. Con Clasher says, that's why I'm captaining Haaland this week. He's gonna bag. I do think if I owned him, I would be captaining him for sure. He's gonna bag to spite FPL players. Yeah, that is usually what happens. What happens is we all sell someone, they return, and we're like, shit. And then the person we bring in just struggles for a few weeks. Just the most typical thing ever, like. Do I bring in Welbeck, says Liam. Raul or Strand Larson for the lap or roll? I think I would roll, and I would wait for João Pedro. I'm really interested in João Pedro. I think it's the price point he comes in. There is a good bit of competition. Of course, if you think Welbeck is better than João Pedro, I would just go Welbeck. Eddie Casey says, I brought in Semenyo for McNeil, so do I start Semenyo or Matthias Nunes of City or bench one of them? Please up the data. Eddie Casey, another Waterford man. I would play Semenyo easily. Rosen says, is it worth a -4 to replace McNeil with Semenyo? I don't think so. Being bold today, says, who said that? Varunas, he says, I'm captaining Kuna. Man, I don't love that. Just because of pure projection of players that are expected to do better, but fair, go for it. Hong Zong Zeng says, FPL Choi, are you selling Havertz, and are you planning on making any transfers? So, let's speak about my own moves. It's not something we spoke about yet. I have one free transfer. Let me bring up the transfers page, and I've got 1.8 million in the bank. Let me just fill you in on my initial thoughts. So again, the team is good. And yes, the armband is currently on Dominic Solanke. I feel like I want to roll the transfer. But between now and the next hour, I could roll the transfer. I could get rid of Lewis if we get some news and bring in Pedro Porro. And I could get rid of Havertz and bring in Alexander Isak. Or drop him down to someone to free up budget if the likes of a Garnacho needs to get out of my team, and I could just bump him up to a Saka. I think that's a very interesting move. So let me put this into picture for you. So first move I could potentially make, again, just to clarify, this is not what's going to happen, it's just a suggestion, and be sure to let me know what you think of it in chat. So the first move is Pedro Porro, who of course has got Ipswich at home. Now, what we've seen from Spurs is a bit different, I want to say, than what we've seen, I would say, the majority of last season and at the start of this season. And again, it goes down to the reshuffle in defence of Radu Dragushin coming in, who did look a bit shaky, I have to say, against Fenerbahce. I think people are reading into that a small bit more than we probably should. Again, when you make a makeshift back four of Ben Davies, Radu Dragushin, Pedro Porro, even though it's probably what we're going to line up with this week, and then send them to Turkey away against Fenerbahce, who are absolutely wild. Probably a recipe for disaster. So, I do think Spurs are, again, we are projected to keep the highest percentage chance of a clean sheet this week. My issue with bringing in Porro this week is, of course, you don't want to play him against City away, first off. But also, it looked like he had tight hamstrings towards the end of that Fenerbahce game. Not to scare anyone, but never a good sign. So, Porro is not the highest priority on my list, especially when we have a question mark about Lewis. And before we go on to the next transfer, Nate Meg Officials with the $2 super chat. It says, why Captain Solanke? Won't Ipswich sit low? So, this is an interesting question. And again, some people will have a different thought process on how Ipswich are going to play. If you sit low away to Spurs, you're asking for trouble. You almost need to bring the game to Tottenham, which also suits us. But out of the two, I feel like you can't sit back and absorb pressure. What does that do? That leaves many corners, an opportunity for dead balls, which we know Solanke is good in the air. Maybe he's not shown it just yet. But of course, Solanke is a 6-yard box finisher. And if they sit low, I mean, the ball is going to be whipped in for sure. You can be sure of that for Pedro Porro and the wingers. So that leaves Edogie and Pedro Porro with a lot of work to do if they do sit with a low block. Again, you imagine Spurs would like to control this game. 7 home victories, I believe, in the last 7 since that 1-0 loss to Arsenal. Spurs, Tottenham Stadium is becoming a hard place to come. And if you're at Ipswich at home, you're without a win this season. You're probably right. You probably expect them to come with a low block. And they will try to rock Spurs. Ipswich are a bit of a physical side, I have to say. So, again, I feel like the opportunities for Ipswich will come to set pieces, like every other team that I play against Spurs. But again, they are without Greaves, their main centre half. And I think this is another key role in my thought process of potentially captaining Solanke over the likes of a Mohamed Salah. If you think Solanke is going to get over 80 minutes and he's playing against the best aerial defence Ipswich have, I think I fancy Solanke. And the goal midweek and the rest, I'm all for it. So yeah, the game set, the game. Sorry, what am I trying to say? The game state doesn't really bother me because I know we're gonna get chances basically. And thank you for the super chat, I appreciate it. I wouldn't be sending me money, lads. I would say if you want to support, do become a member. That way I can keep you in the loop and you get a little nice FPL Chai badge, I suppose. But yeah, appreciate the super chat. Thank you. If you don't have Haaland and Salah, which one would you captain? Or if you have both, I think I'll go Haaland because at this point it is differential. And of course you have the insurance of owning Salah. I actually rate Spurs defence, says Con. You've done way better this year. And the fixtures Ipswich after Ipswich isn't ideal. I agree. I think collectively Spurs as a team have been better. Again, a bit shook from the injuries, but that's the game. Do you mean Galatasaray? Yeah, sorry, I don't know why I said Fenerbahce. I was thinking about Jose Mourinho. Apologies. My bad. Will Maddison be benched again? The free kick against Villa was good. I'm going to say no. Again, you're not going to hear this opinion anywhere else. I do think there is a chance Maddison starts, though. I want Pat Maddison to start, but again, he's a young player. When you have personalities like Maddison, they're much harder to bench in comparison to the likes of Asar, who's young, and regardless of how good he's playing, you can always bench him. Who's your captain? Is currently on Solanke. Try, I need some DCL therapy. I can't give you any therapy on DCL, I'll be honest. I wanted to sell him last game week and I stuck with him. Sad thing is I need to hold him again. Help. Yeah, I think it might be DCL overtime, especially when he hasn't been seen in training. It's definitely not helpful. Cheers, Shy. It's risky, personally, to me, over Salah, but I get it. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just the EO play. Ekao says, my forwards are Haaland, Wood and Jackson. Think I need a change this game week. No. Jackson, maybe you could get rid of him, but again, the fixtures do get good again. With Leicester at home, so I don't think I would make any moves. Choi, how are you doing? I'm doing fantastic. Very busy, but again, doing what I love on the weekend, which is speaking to you guys. And I have work done with college. I'm fairly up to date. Not perfect, but we're getting there slowly but surely. It's never going to be perfect. Wait, DCL wasn't in training? I'm fairly sure it was said that there wasn't pictures of him. No. Are you planning to play out of Lewis and Mikalenko? Who are you planning to play out of Lewis and Mikalenko? I'm playing Lewis. Let me get back to my actual team. Would you move on Havertz? I was thinking about it. I don't think I'm going to do it though. Sharif says, there are any Discord servers for the FPL community? Yeah, there are a good few. I'm fairly sure most of the big streamers. One that comes to mind is Oscar's one. I would definitely get involved in FPL Focals. Very, very good community, and he's very, very active in there. I can't even promote my own one because I can't say I'd be active. So, yeah, be sure to check out Oscar's one. Rodgers versus Liverpool or Dibbling versus Wolves. Again, I would just... The minutes is the issue with Dibbling, so I think I'll play Rodgers. Salah or Solanke for captaincy? If you're asking me, I've got both, and I'm going with Solanke. Again, completely up to your own interpretation. Who's your goalkeeper? My goalkeeper is indeed the very reliable Ederson. Hold on now. Let me see. Getting a few DMs today on which streams. So just a quick reminder, I won't be streaming today because I'm in Manchester. Choi has gone live and head over to him for the stream. Appreciate you, Niall. Legend. For anyone that is watching from Niall's stream, welcome. Let me just thank him. I didn't see this. Can't spell. Legend, appreciate you. By the way, what a guy Niall is. I went up to Galway to chat with Niall for one of the meetups. I don't know if any are in chat that were at that, but very enjoyable and one of my first meetups, other than going to London. So for anyone that's not already, maybe if you're Irish, I don't know how you're not following Niall, but very lovely guy and good streamer as well. Why can't I find his heart? There you go. That's the one I was looking for. Bro said Ederson is reliable. Yeah, as reliable as Tottenham at this point. You know, we're not not a lot to base it off. Fabianski or Raya start this week. I'll be playing Raya 100%. Bench Palmer or Jimenez. I'll be benching Jimenez. I'll be benching Jimenez. Your chat is frozen. Okay, let me update that. Bench Palmer or Jimenez? Again, I answered that. Keltish says, alright, Chai, bench one defender, Gabriel, Lewis or Collins. I'll be benching Collins. I would just risk playing Lewis if I own him. Let me update this chat. I don't know why it's frozen. Is it frozen? I think we're good, no? No, we are good. Oh, maybe I lied. We're not good. Okay, let me pop out chat again. Apologies. Pop out chat. Why is it not giving me the option? Shit. Okay, got it. And let me update that. 2 seconds, guys. Apologies. That's the one thing you'll get here. An unprofessional setup where there's something going wrong, but bear with me. It's part of the experience. Where is this? Okay, is it updated? Yes, it is updated. Okay, sweet. Let me get back to your questions. Downgrade Trent to Dallo and upgrade Delap to Solanke, a good move. You know what? It's not one I've ever thought about. I think if you have 2 free transfers, it doesn't look bad at all. Again, initially I say yes, but again, it's not something I've thought about too much. Interesting move. If Luis Diaz starts, says Ewan, and I bank to transfer or move to Bruno, would be using my only free transfer. I think if you expect Diaz to start, you just play him. Again, I don't think it's a bad move to go to Bruno. It just means that you have nothing else to do, which is completely fine. Garnacho or Wood? This week, Garnacho. In general, probably Garnacho. Again, it is a bit risky. I don't think I'll be bringing him in, but if I own him, I'll be benching Wood. Johnson for Eze for long term. Johnson long term. Do I love that? I can't say I love it, but I don't mind it at the same time. I think he's probably the best in that budget range. Again, I don't own him. Hutch, I love the setup, but in my opinion, the old chat on screen was better. Both great though. Yeah, I'll definitely get that sorted. It's only because I changed the display that it's a bit different, and I apologize about that. Where are we? You know what I think it is? I need to keep this like this. Okay, that should be fine now. Captain Son today, not for me. Thanks for the awesome stream. Looking forward to the WhatsApp chat. Here's my number. Paul, you should have DM'd me. But sure, I'll get you in. Don't worry, I'll do it after the stream. And thank you for supporting as usual. Top 3 players that are must-haves this game week. For me, Dominic Solanke. Second, Mohamed Salah. And third, Erling Haaland. Now, I don't think you can get to them all, but that's what I like. How confident are we of a Foden start? I'm on my knees, says Rilwan. I'm not confident of a Foden start at all, I'll be honest with you, but I think he's more likely to start than not. Choi, Wood or Semenyo? Semenyo. Solanke son or Haaland captain? I'm going Solanke. I think if I had Haaland though, I would be going Haaland. Would you spend a transfer to do Emile Smith Rowe to Semenyo? No, I don't think so. Wildcard next week. How's Rodgers and Haaland, Son and Isaac as 1 week punts? Love it. Better off waiting until next week to do Haaland to Salah swap. Yeah, with that Southampton fixture and Salah not going on international break, it looks like. I think you're right. You're good, Paul. It's just about your own, how do I say it, confidentiality. I don't want you to be spreading your number on stream, but again, that's no problem if you're okay with it. Foden is the biggest FPL troll of all time and has been for seasons. I don't know about that, Con. I do think Foden does have a place. I think we just seen something very unusual this season where the illness, it's just really unusual. But that type of stuff happens. Players go through veins of form. It's just about catching them on the right time, and in this case, we just didn't do it. Fortunately enough, I didn't bring him in myself. But yeah, I do think there will be a point in time where he looks good again. You're good, Paul. You're good. Jackson to Solanke, 1 free transfer. Cheers. I don't know if I'd make that move because the fixture next week, but I think in general it is a good move. It's definitely, it's a step forward, but not the biggest leap, if that makes sense. Small bit sideways, but I do like it. Keane says, sorry, Choi, for repeating the question, but you answered me saying sell DCL instead of buying a defender to cover Lewis. Would you stand by this if Rico Lewis has no backups if he doesn't play? Ooh. I think I'd still be inclined to sell DCL because I wouldn't want to hold on to him. Again, apologies if it doesn't work out that way, but that's just my initial thoughts. Good week to do Watkins, Sakuna, Strand, Larson? No. I think you potentially hold on to a Watkins because he played. Again, it really depends. I would say if it opens the door for you to do other moves in common game weeks. Of course, 9 million for Watkins is a lot. But again, that's not to say he can't score against Liverpool. This season's different with Pep Roulette. It has scarred me in so many ways. Too many times from ever getting Foden. Yeah, no, I understand. It is tough with the likes of Lewis as well. It's always the risk we run with these type of guys, and I think it's why Haaland is probably worth 15 million for the best team in the league. When you look at it from that point of view, the goals aren't coming from elsewhere yet. Would you start Jimenez or Wissa? That's a tough one. I think I'd start Wissa. Bournemouth at home. It's a tough game though. Real quick, Fabianski or Edison for this game week, given the current City form? I'll be starting Edison, man. I would unfortunately be starting Edison. And I'm not even going to try sell you because it's not rational. That's my honest answer. Do I sell him to Isaac? Have enough but limited money for the future. I do like the Isaac move, and especially because it's differential. I do like it. Who should I sell DCL for? I have 6 million. I have Haaland and Kuna. Personally, I wouldn't be doubling up on the Wolves boys. So Strand Larsen's off the menu. 6 million. There are many great options. I think you potentially go to a Welbeck. I don't know how much he is now though. Shoy, do you plan on owning Haaland again? Says Clive. I think it really depends. When I'm thinking about this type of thing, I can't go off form. Regardless of form, I need to make a decision on whether or not I think it's better for my team going forward to own him or not. Let's bring up FPL team real quick to look at their fixture tickers. By the way, I use FPL team specifically for their fixture tickers. I think it's really good. So let's look at City. City have, of course, got... Let me zoom in on that. Apologies. Brighton, Tottenham, Liverpool, Forest, Crystal Palace, United, Villa, Everton, Leicester, West Ham, Brentford, Ipswich. Did I just read that wrong? No, I read that right. Okay. Like, he is a phenomenal hold this week. Brighton will concede goals. Tottenham will definitely concede goals. Liverpool, okay, a tough game, but it's a game City need to win if they want to... plant themselves. Like, I don't know if there's a gap between City and Liverpool. Of course, Liverpool have been class this season, but it's in these type of games where if Liverpool show up, man, they're definitely on for the title. Liverpool get a result out of this game, for sure on for the title. I think it's still a bit early. City lose this game, it's like, okay, Liverpool are no joke this season, especially when you consider the form of City. But I do think Haaland, to get back to the question, he's definitely a solid hold, and it's difficult to get rid of him. Like when you look at the run for Liverpool, okay, the Southampton fixture is tasty. City, Newcastle, Everton, 3 tough games. Liverpool often do well against Everton, but they can usually be cagey. Depends, of course, if Everton get a red card like usual. Fulham, Tottenham, Leicester, West Ham, United, Forest, Brentford, Ipswich. Lovely, lovely run. So there's an argument for both. And I think for the money, Salah is more worth it. And of course, the bonus point system this season. Is Jackson a decent shout for the next week's? Yes. I wouldn't get him this week though. I'd just wait. I'm not entirely convinced. Yeah, but Jackson has really good numbers. And he has a really nice fixture next week. A Foden benching leak would hit like crack right now. I assume you've got Foden. I hope you have a plan on who you want to move on to though. I'm on wildcard. Do I get Son or Brennan? On wildcard. I don't know if I have either. I think I would go Palmer. Or if you're not going Palmer this week, sorry, I would go Saka. I know it's actually not one that's been spoke about, but there will be another point in time in the season where you want Saka, and that is probably next week. Especially when the likes of Kai Havertz isn't necessarily doing it. Is there a big difference between Strand and Kuna? Big difference, no. Other than the price, I think Kuna is the better option though. Again, it is for the price though. Like Strand Larsen is probably better value. But it's the penalties for me. Mr. Emperor says, do I take out Cole Palmer as I already have got Salad and Hallandale in my team, or do I keep? You just keep him. How have you got Cole Palmer, Haaland and Salah though? That's a lot of money, man. JC Music UK says, Chai my G, we need to meet again in the comments. Who to captain this week? The Robot, Cole Palmer, or Mbuemo, or Brennan Johnson? Brennan Johnson is a stretch, my friend. I think if you have Solanke, let's talk. The Robot or Cole Palmer, for me it's easy. If you've only got these options, it's easily Erling Haaland. Erling Big Boy Brout. Let's get back to the team. By the way, how is everyone? I know right now we're talking FPL, but anyone got any news? How are you keeping? How's the head? Do you want to talk about anything? More than happy to just chat. Raul or Evan Nilsson? Evan Nilsson. I think he's underrated for sure. I really like Evan Nilsson. How much would you bet on Aït-Nouri having a higher average position than Solanke this game week? This week, I think Solanke is going to have a higher heat map. And I know the likes of Gianni Patici loves the heat map metric, but when I look at the game state, I don't see too many opportunities for us to catch Ipswich off on the break. So that would mean Solanke won't be picking up the ball deep, and he'll be hugging in between those two centre halves, I want to say, and waiting and lurking in the box. But again, I could be wrong. How much you want to bet? Let's put €20 on it. I'll happily revolute you if I'm wrong. This is not a confident try, but it's just my opinion. Who's a better captain says Refacul. For me, Solanke. Collins or Kirkes? Start one. Collins. What do you think about Trent to Madrid? I think for Trent's career, it's the right move. I think especially when he's good friends with Jude Bellingham, it's a step up realistically. I think Liverpool are going to do everything in their power, especially like out of the three who are out of contract soon. VVD, Trent, Salah. I think the one you want to keep is Trent because, you know, he's a boyhood lover and scouser. So I think he's the one Liverpool want to keep. But then again, I feel like it's time for Trent to go. I don't know how well he gets on with the new boss. I always feel like just how they are with each other. I'm a bit skeptical. Bench one of Madison or Vardy? I'll be benching Vardy. Hello, Choi. Looking good, mate. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. FPL NX says, I have Saka, Palmer, Haaland, 4 free transfers, and I'm fairly lost in strategy over the next few weeks. I would just hold on to those three. Those three are great shouts, man, especially when you consider the fixtures next week. Saka to Garnacho? No, I won't be getting rid of Saka. Son or Saka? This week it has to be Son. But again, if I'm choosing to bring in one this week, it has to be Saka. How many minutes do you think Dibbling will get today? I want to say about 45. Again, it's only based on previous weeks though. What made you go Solanke captain over Mo Salah? Again, it's just more so I feel like there is an opportunity in the market to go with something a bit more differential. I promise I don't do it just because I'm a Spurs fan, but I do like the likes of a Solanke going into this game week. Especially when you consider the home form Spurs are on. That midweek fixture doesn't turn me off at all. And Ipswich, their numbers defensively aren't great. John Ross says, strongly considering transferring out Vardy to Hoyland for a 3-week punt. I would say absolutely go for it. I'm a bit higher on Hoyland than I am than other FPL managers. And he's also projected to do quite well on the models. Son or Salah for captain? I would just go Salah, it's a bit safer. Liam says, they say Trent loves how Slot helps reach his full potential, especially defensively. Yeah, that's one thing, Liam. But I think on a personal level, I've no doubt Slot is a phenomenal coach. But on a personal level, 1-to-1, you know, especially seeing the early subs at the start of the season, Trent was a bit annoyed. I feel like if you suddenly see a dip in Liverpool's form, then if you're Trent, why not move on to maybe bigger things? Now, don't get me wrong, Liverpool are class. But Madrid, when they seem to struggle, what they tend to do is just go to the transfer window and fix things. And if you're fixing that team, maybe you just buy Trent on a cheap. You get Christian Romero, 1 year left on his contract, on a cheap to replace Rudiger maybe. David Alaba always having injury doubts. And then you just hope that Mbappe clicks, Vinicius clicks, you know, you have everything else there. So, I don't know, maybe too many cooks spoil the broth, but that's just where my thoughts are if I'm Trent. Spiros went Haaland, McNeil, Smith Rowe to Son, Saka and Kuna. Interesting how the AI has avoided Salah this week. Yeah, that is really interesting. I saw that move myself. I think Son is a placeholder for Palmer. I don't know if the team already has Palmer, but that makes sense in my mind. Alright, cheeky scroll on Twitter. George, I don't know if you're still in here, but let us know if there's any updates if you are. I keep getting the same stuff on my timeline. Is Maddison a hole this week? Sahil, unfortunately. I think there is a chance he gets the game. I think if you've not else to do, I would make the move out though, because you won't want him next week. Why no one talks about Gordon? He's one that I like. Nickish. I think he's actually quite underrated. Again, he's only back from injury. He's back on form though, it looks. He's playing off the right, which I don't love, but definitely an option. Hi, shall I captain Foden or Haaland? I would be going nowhere near Foden. So Haaland for me. I don't think we're going to get any updates before the deadline, by the way. This is a thing from Luke that we just got. His predicted lineup. So like I said, I saw a post from him earlier, and he was saying that it could be potentially Lewis off the left, inverting into midfield. Now, that would be brilliant in terms of FPL, let me tell you. Let's analyse this post a bit more. I nailed myself into the mask for old time's sake. Going to assume the injuries mean Lewis plays and go for this. Not sure on the attackers. Nunez Gundogan could easily feature. Good luck all. So this means, from my perspective, we're not going to get at him before the deadline. And for me, there's no one more informed in the community than Luke. And judging that, I'm playing Lewis and not getting rid of him. So that's one decision done for me. Lewis is starting. Let's look at one of the other holes, which is Kai Havertz. I expect Kai Havertz to start. He plays against his old team, and I do think Arsenal are going to win this game. So for me, I feel like I'm not going to make a move this week of anyone. Again, though, something could pop up between now and the deadline. I'm more than happy to hold on to Kai Havertz. Again, another away fixture, which I know people don't love that. But look at the numbers, lads, in the last 3 games where he's blanked. Okay, he was not great against Bournemouth. I consider they're down to 10 men. Okay, sure. But when you consider it from the Leicester game as well, 0.42 XGI against Newcastle at St James Park. Should have scored. Same with Liverpool. It was that weird offside situation. Should have scored. Southampton, of course, he returned. And Leicester, he clocked a massive almost 2 XGI. So don't leave the results kind of swayed you. For me, I would more worry about the injury, but I think he's fine. Just a few stitches, he'll be grand. His son, good captaincy. It's not bad. Always in here. My noties are on. Cheers, George. Do you think Amaron fixes United winning this season? No chance. What you want to see from a manager like Amaron coming in now is a sense of style and direction in terms of how United are going to play. And you also want to see him be bold. I think it's important he's bold early on, sets the standard, and chooses the players he wants to keep going forward. There's no point to just playing someone just because they suit right now. I think you make the decision to play a system how you want, with the personnel and the direction you want to go going forward. I think it will take United a while. It will take him a while. This season is a stretch to fix things. Flecken or Henderson? Tough one. I don't have an answer for that. I would just play either of them. I'll go Flecken just for sheer save points, I suppose. Thanks for the leak, Luke. Brilliant. Salah or Bruno for captain? Can't be asking me that, man. Don't disrespect Mo Salah like that. This would be the type of week where I would put the captaincy on Bruno if I owned him, saying that. It's what I done last season, but again, Salah in this form versus Villa, you would fancy him. How big on Semenyo are you, Choi? I'm not even big on Semenyo. I don't know if the boat has passed just yet. Don't get me wrong, he's picking up good numbers and he's a focal point of what Bournemouth do, but can he carry that on? To say he's going to carry that on, he's going to be on for double-digit goals and assists this season. And can I see that? I don't know. Flecken or Rhea? Rhea. Would you bring in a third attacker? Wood/Welbeck. Or sell Rodgers/Semenyo? Rodgers to Semenyo. I think right now I would just bring in Wood, to be honest. Again, I don't love bringing in Chris Wood. Another player which, at this rate, you have to consider he's going to be on 20 goals this season. So, I don't know how sustainable this form he's on is. But I think I still fancy Wood because of penalties. Lewis to De Ligt, Man United fan. No, but if you can do Lewis to Dalot, sure. Who's the best forward to bring in except Kuna and Solanke? 0.2 off Isaac. Ooh, that's tough. That is tough. Let's have a look. Who is the best if you're not going Isaac? Good question. Chris Wood or Evan Nielsen? Evan Nielsen, lads, best budget one, and he's got some decent fixtures. I'm telling you. And he's also on penalties. Low key, guys. And you have to consider he's played Arsenal, Villa, City, and returned. Some decent underlines as well. Again, the minutes, not the greatest, but if he starts getting more minutes and becomes 80 plus, I see no reason not to go for him. What's your plan tonight? What am I doing tonight? I'm watching football first off, 100%. 100%. I need to go to the gym. I've been slacking recently, I'm not going to lie. We'll be at the gym later though. Mostly need to take a nap, fairly tired. But right now, we're sorting the FPL team. And I need to make dinner. Start Matoma or Rodgers, says Bernier. I'll be starting Matoma all day. Matoma can cause damage, lads. Would you take him over Wood? It's hard to say. My initial inkling is it makes no sense not to go Chris Wood. But I do feel like, the boat is potentially gone. That's all I'm going to say. I could be wrong. Who would you take going forward? Keeping Solanke or changing to Isaac? First of all, okay, it makes no sense to get rid of Solanke this week. I don't need to tell you that. maybe next week versus City, you could get rid of Solanke if you really felt like it's necessary. But it is kind of sideways. I don't mind Solanke going forward. 7.8 million to replace McNeil. Let's take a look. 7.8 million to replace McNeil. So again, I'm gonna backtrack in a second on something that I want to touch off. 7.8 midfielder. I think Jared Bowen is low key good, but my man is Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon is my man for that money. Hope that answers your question. Let me go back to what I was going to speak about. So, this is, by the way, for anyone that is unfamiliar with FPL Shy. Again, the rank is not where we want, but from the microtransactions I'm making, this is the 6th transfer in a row I've made that have led to points. What do I mean by that? What do you mean by that, Shy? So in game week 7, game week 7? Game week 8? Game week 7? How do I see my rank history? Points. Okay, so in game week 8, we done Heung-min Son in. We also brought in Garnacho. There were the 2 transfers in game week 8. In game week 9, we brought in Cole Palmer and we brought in Ait-Nouri, another plus 16. And in game week 10, we brought in Kuna and we brought in Mohamed Salah, plus 24. We're on a hot streak. And I'm confident in rolling my transfer this week. So this is where we are. So the reason I done Mohamed Salah and Kuna last week is not because I have any doubts about Erling Haaland and how good he is as an option. The reason is it leaves me flexible for going forward, especially if I roll in this week. 1.8 million in the bank and 1 free transfer. Obviously, Ait-Nouri is in for Mikalenko here. Sorry, apologies about that. But let's say I roll this week, which would be ideal. Next week, game week 12. Again, in my opinion, really, really nice team. When you look at that midfield, we're playing against bottom half, bottom 5. A home fixture for Havertz. This fixture for Solanke, not the greatest, but we know how Spurs can cause trouble for City, so not the end of the world. And the move I would probably make would probably be moving on Lewis this week. Alternatively, I could play Brentford, Mikalenko versus Brentford. But, again, I have the 2 free transfers, and I don't think it's necessary to double up with the City defence, especially if you don't know if Lewis is going to start. Again, it might depend on what we see today. But what it let me do, English, sorry, is get rid of Lewis this week in game week 12, by the way. This is game week 12. So what I'm going to do is look at the fixtures. Who has some decent fixtures? Gabriel. And it leaves me bringing a player who I can almost set and forget about for a few weeks, who's got a nice home fixture versus Forest. And we do know Nuno keeps these games quite cagey against the bigger sides. So the game state of this game at the Emirates, of course, I do expect Arsenal to control the game. So a lovely nice fixture. He plays Julian Lopetegui's West Ham away, who I don't know if he'll have his job by game week 13. And if he doesn't, again, if they get a poor result today, it looks good. They play an Amaron's team at home. I think it would be his 3rd or 2nd game in charge versus United. And then they go on this run of Fulham, Everton, Crystal Palace, Ipswich. So I really like it from that side. And when you look at my previous moves, it's all led up to this. When I'm making my moves, I look 3-4 weeks in advance. And I hope this can help you make your own decisions when you're doing it. This is how I do it. Again, I'm no saint. I'm just giving you what I do. What I do is not necessarily correct. But when you look at it this way, it makes more sense. And it's not to say that Salah is better than Haaland or Kuna is better than the next guy. How long am I holding on to Kai Havertz? If I hold on to him this week, it doesn't make sense for me to get rid of him next week with a home fixture versus Forest. Am I benching Solanke? That will be in game week 12. I don't know. We'll see how I'm feeling. Again, if Solanke suddenly braces this week again, of course I'll have to start. But it's nice to have the option with Rodgers. So yeah, that's my little spiel about my thought process of the transfers going forward. And again, I also have another free transfer. If I wanted to kind of take the mick a small bit, I could potentially even get rid of the likes of a Solanke, which I can't see myself doing. But getting rid of Ederson, for example, if it was a luxury move, and maybe go into someone with decent fixtures and be a bit aggressive, and I could even go with the double up on the Arsenal boys and go Raya. So that's just food for thought. Quickly back to the team. We'll do a scroll on Twitter and then we'll answer some of your questions quickly. A question from Robert Zaheri, who is always an often viewer in our chat. Pretty good games for United. Perhaps this time it would not be a trap. How does the new manager play defense? What do we know? So Amaron plays 5 at the back from my understanding, or a 3-4-1-2. Now this is good, and why I'm quite high on the likes of Diogo Dalot. I feel like the system or type of player Dalot has been for United for years is an attacking one. And I feel like we've seen in the last 2 or 3 weeks Dalot miss sitters for Ten Hag's team. Whether or not you agree that it cost him his job, I don't know. But I feel like if Dalot is a bit more clinical in those situations, United win those games. For example, the one against West Ham. How does Amaron play? 5 at the back. And people are skeptical about Dalot starting. I feel like he has to play Dalot, especially in a system with 5 at the back. Again, Managerial is good going forward, but I don't see a world in which Dalot doesn't start, especially when he's been one of the standouts this season for United. Again, in recent weeks he's not been the best, but he's been one of the more consistent ones, I have to say. What else do we know? He has Victor Gyökeres right now, and he's an absolute superstar. Can he convert Rasmus Højlund, and with, of course, Ruud van Nistelrooy in the ear of Højlund? This is going to be interesting. What I'm more interested in is, though, what he does with Bruno. What position does Bruno take up in this team? Of course, also being Portuguese, I can imagine they already have a strong connection, speaking to each other through telephone, or if not, already meeting up. I think there will be an opportunity throughout some point in the season where we do see Bruno Fernandes back in a few teams. It's funny, we're very critical on Bruno Fernandes, rightly so, because he comes in at a very hefty price. But automatically looking at the second half of the season in game week 21, where we have our wildcard, we'll have the mystery chip, of course. Man United go on a run of Southampton, Brighton, Fulham, Crystal Palace, Tottenham, Everton, Ipswich, Arsenal, Leicester and Nottingham Forest. All teams where if United do click a small bit better, and again I think it's more so on United's teammates rather than Bruno Fernandes himself. I actually never doubted Bruno as an asset, but they could do some damage, lads. They could do some damage. Let me answer this question from Sharif. He says, you settled on Big Dom captain. Start Lewis or Aina. Last time I benched Aina with his 15-pointer. Yeah, so that Aina thing, it is an outlier. He literally said himself in the interview, I was absolutely knackered and I just shot and it went in. It's not going to happen on a weekly basis. Am I settled on Big Dom? I think so. I think it is a time for me to take a risk. Start Lewis or Aina? I'll be starting Lewis. Either centre mid, right wing or right forward. That is right, J-Dog. We don't know. I think the role for Bruno is going to be the most interesting thing. Start DCL or Rodgers? I would start DCL and hope that he doesn't come on. Bring Dalot or Porro? See, the thing with Dalot is, if you bring Dalot in this week, he also sorts you out for next week and the next week. If you bring in Porro this week, you have to bench him next week. So, again, it really depends on your team. Really, really depends on your team. Hi there, great content, says man number 8. Should I go Garnacho or Semenyo? I would take a punt on Garnacho, honestly. I don't love Garnacho as a transfer in, I'll be honest. I think you're right to be skeptical about his minutes, especially with the new manager coming in. But out of the two, I do prefer Garnacho. Would you captain Son if you had him, Chai? No. Again, that's not to say he's a bad option. Bring Dalot or Porro. Sorry, I already answered this. Start Matters or Semenyo. Lads, I genuinely would be taking a risk on Matters. The only thing with him is I would just transfer him out this week alternatively. Or just play Semenyo, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't answer your question. I would personally play him if I owned him. Would you captain Son if you still had him? No. Choi, I'm going to come down to the wire on this one. Have Lewis and Mikalenko starting, and DCL starting up top too. Tempted by Nori, but DCL to Larson is tempting as fuck. Yeah, I would play Lewis. I don't think I would do Strand Larson in for DCL. I think I would just try go to someone else. It's difficult though. Is this your final squad choice? Says Sean. Yes. I think so. I can't see myself making a move between now and then unless we get a leak. Bruno or Garnacho? Bruno. Has there been any injury or team news yet today? No. Sell Gabriel for Renan Ori? No. Start Henderson or Fabianski? I would start Fabianski. Who would you play between Milenkovic against Newcastle at home or Kilman against Everton at home? Kilman. Oh yeah. Let me set my voice captain actually. Good point. Just in case. You never know. Hey Choi, which two would you play from Gabriel, Lewis and Mikalenko? I'll play Gabriel and Lewis. Son to Bruno and Raul to Solanke for a -4. No. What are you going to do with Havertz? Hold on to him. How did you get the bravery to not have Haaland? Last season, it was the situation, the circumstances, I suppose. A bit of luck. My mind was made up for me last season because how well I was doing, I suppose. At the start of the season, though, I just felt like you could do a lot with that budget. And again, this season, I done the same, and it didn't work out this time, but I do feel like there is an opportunity, and that's why I'm going back to it. If I wanted a Dallo, I should transfer out Lewis or Mikalenko. Yeah, that's a tough decision. For me, Lewis, I think now is the time to probably get rid of him. You know, you don't want to have this benching headache next week. Of course, he does play against Tottenham. I don't know how high you are on Tottenham, but definitely good to consider. Get rid of that headache. I think Garnacho in the end, says Wesley. Thought that the funds will be good and bring in Jackson for Vardy next week. Yeah, love that. Good to always think about future plans. Choi, love the content, bro, says Kaka. Do I risk bringing in DCL or play Rodgers? Do I risk starting DCL or play Rodgers? I would just start DCL personally. I'm not expecting much from Rodgers. Again, saying that, good little caveat here. I have benched Rodgers for 4 hauls this week. Make of that as you will. Don't listen to me, basically, is what I'm saying. Choi, have Rhea. Who would you start, Gabriel or Lewis? Choi, have Rhea. Who would you start, Gabriel or Lewis? Ooh, that is hard, man. That is tough. I think I go Lewis, man. Sharif, try to go. Thank you. What do we do with Havertz? Hold on to him. Champions Collide says Choi lad Watkins for Isaac for a -4. I think you can hold off this week, champions. -4, I don't know. By virtue of how Liverpool play, Watkins will get a chance. He will get a chance. Even though Liverpool have been fabulous this season, I have to say. Tete or Gabriel to play this week? Gabriel. Smith Rose or Gordon for long term? Gordon. I would risk it on Gordon. This is so gas. I've been in this toxic relationship for far too long. When times are tough, I keep heading back when I know I should consider other options. I love you and I want you, but I know the kindest thing for both of us is to set you free. Goodbye, Phil Foden. That is brilliant. Oh. This is the content I live for. Leave me add emoji, man. No emoji today. I can't even type ha ha ha. Alright, no, this is a question, chat. Alright. Let me do this. I know people are from different parts of the globe, okay? And we're at different age brackets here. I have a question. And I need your feedback because I'm really curious. Let me just get up chat real quick so I can actually see what's going on. Here's the question. How do you laugh in text format? Okay? You're going to have to hear me out. Now, I can't... Okay, so laughing emoji. Crying emoji. Or ha 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 ha. Et al. Meaning like... Whatever version, like H. I know people that are Spanish, they use ha 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 because they go ha ha ha. Like, Which one do you use? Vote on the poll. Let me know. This is the content we die for. I got absolutely grilled the other day. I was speaking to someone and they were saying to me, "You're such a bot for using ha 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 ha." Now I'm a ha 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 user. Like that's just me though. Cat laugh, bro. All of them. Crying emoji is optimal. I don't know if crying emoji is optimal. I feel like so I use them in different situations. Let me explain. So laughing emoji is like you've actually made me laugh. Crying emoji is like I'm laughing with you. Ha 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 is like I'm actually genuinely laughing like. So laughing emoji and ha 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 are used in like different subtext, I suppose. Now, Smith Jones makes a good point. He says, I use the skull emoji. Now, the skull emoji is like, I'm dead. That's gold. I can't lie. But that's for a different situation. And also, that goes with a different age group. Skull emoji isn't used by the older folk, I want to say, which is completely understandable. I'm cooking lunch for the ease before to ease the nerves before the deadline. Brilliant. Mixture of all depends on who I'm talking to. That is right, Rogers. That's a good point. Let's say you don't know someone, you're getting to know them. What are you using? Start Watkins or Raul. You got it right, choice. Says Paul. Thank you. FPL Focal is locked in. Yeah, see, this is what I mean. Some people take it in different contexts. Like, people think I'm sarcastic when I say ha ha ha, but like, I'm being serious. Like, I'm genuinely laughing. But yeah, ha 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 is leading the line at 43%. Any leaks, says Leo. It doesn't look like it. FPL Focal has done the move of Strand Larson and Mohamed Salah. Interesting to get rid of Rodgers. Saying lol in real life conversation is the biggest aura loss. I agree, but I don't be saying lol. I don't be saying it in text format either, to be honest. I don't say LMAO either. Again, I feel like if you're maybe 4 years or 3 years older than me, maybe you use LMAO and lol a bit more. When the boomer internet age was around. Just need to see a little something. Choi with a Scouse accent. I'm so sorry, Liam, to put you through that. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't think anyone would cop it. So bad, man. But yeah, if someone was going to catch it, Liam, it was going to be you. I'm giving Haaland one more week. Lads, Haaland is a good option. I wouldn't be getting frustrated with him personally. What do you think about double Wolves attack? Not for me. Not for me at all. No one says lol anymore? Nah, not really, live sneakers. It's kind of outdated. Lol is outdated. Have to say. And I'm young. Nah, I can't tell you how to laugh, man. Start Robinson or Lewis Hall, says Morris. Robinson or Lewis Hall? I would be starting Lewis Hall, I think. Foden to Palmer. Yes, ET. I've got no Haaland. Let me just bring chat onto this side of the screen so I can see a bit better. Oops. I've got no Haaland. I've got the armband of Mohamed Salah. And I'm tempted by Solanke versus Ipswich. And maybe even Kuna against Southampton. I'm leaning towards Solanke. What are your thoughts? My brother, there's 9 minutes until the deadline. You are in big trouble. What are my thoughts? I'm Captain Dom Solanke, so I can't tell you otherwise other than Solanke. Hi Choi, any McNeil news? No, I'm sorry. FPL says, should my goalkeeper be Sanchez against Arsenal or home to Henderson against Fulham? Home and Henderson. Sorry, I can't speak. Am I crazy for going attacking upside of Buonanotte and Rodgers over playing Lewis and Van den Berg? No. I would not say you're crazy, but I would think I would prefer to start Lewis over Rodgers. Again, it's just my opinion. Havertz for Isaac, not this week, Jeffin, and not next week either. Start Lewis or Saliba? Saliba. Actually, yeah, I think I would just start Saliba. Shorty of minutes. Saying that, watch Lewis Hall. No, not Lewis Hall. I meant like Lewis get a Hall. Bruno captain worth a go this week. Yeah, like honestly, I'm excited for United this week. But if I have Mohamed Salah or Erling Haaland, I just think that it is the safer bet. But if you've got big cojones, go for it. Yeah, so that's what I mean. Some people are ja, which is a Spanish thing, I believe. Yeah, Con Clasher says, be sure to hit that like button. We have nearly 250 people in here. If we could get to 150 likes, it'd be much appreciated. Again, another green arrow last week. I'm trying to get back up in rank. I know this channel was solely based on rank for a while. But now I hope we've gotten to a point where you're here for chai, not just the rank. And hopefully we can provide both. Lewis to Trent for a -4, bro. No. What are you doing with Palmer? Holding. Start Lewis or Porro? Porro. What to start? McNeil or Rogers? McNeil. Lewis to Dallo, says Roger McSweeney. I don't mind it. I honestly don't mind it. But for virtue of what it does for you next week, it's a really nice fixture. If Haaland blanks again, I'm going to bring in Palmer. My issue with that is he's got a nice fixture next week, which is Tottenham. Haaland is due a goal versus Tottenham, lads, by the way. He's already scored one, but... Are you making any late changes, says Connor? I don't think so. Don't think so. Foden or Bruno? Bruno, easily. Start Lewis or Porro? Porro. Start Semenyo or Raul? Semenyo. Quick fire questions. DCL to Wood or Lewis to Aitonori / Mazraoui? Ooh. DLC to Wood or Lewis to Aitonori / Mazraoui? I would do DCL to Wood. Fernandez or Solanke captain? That gets a bit messy. For me, Dominic Solanke. Choi, Haaland or Salah captain this week? If I own both, I'd be going Erling Haaland because it's differential at this point. Since I told you 2 weeks ago to bring in Wood for Havertz, Wood got 20 points and Havertz got 3 points. Why are you holding on to him? That's a good point. And in the last 6 transfers I've made, Amir or AMR, I've gained over 60 points. The last 6 transfers I made, I'm going to sound like Jose Mourinho. Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden, Bernardo Silva. From the past. No, so my last 6 transfers have been good. And if I had brought in Chris Wood for Kai Havertz, don't get me wrong, I'd have more money and stuff to work with. But that would have had like a butterfly effect on my other transfers, and I mightn't have ended up bringing in the likes of a Palmer, who hauled the week I brought him in, Mohamed Salah, Matthias Cunha, Garnacho, who was well set up for this week. So sure, in hindsight, Wood would have been a good option, but I'm happy with what we have. And hindsight is a beautiful thing. Malaysia Bola, welcome my Malaysian brothers. For anyone that doesn't know, my dad is Malay. Do you think Keane starts? I don't know. I really don't know. Is Son getting 90? Not a chance. Not a single chance. Lewis or Oina? I'll be starting Lewis. Start Sanchez or Fabianski? I will risk Fabianski. He either plays or he doesn't. Rogers, Haaland out. Salah, Kuna in for a -4. Cheers, Chai. I want to say yeah, only because I have it. But again, I think it could work out either way. I'm going to say yeah. I'm sorry if it doesn't work out. Start Onana or Vicario? Onana. Oh, actually. I would start Vicario. I would start Vicario. That's a tough question. It's good to see some variation, by the way. How have you got both Onana and Vicario? I will never know. But I would go Vicario. Start one of Rogers, Mikolenko, Dibbling. I think you just start Rogers for the minutes. And because he's attacker. McNeil or Buenanote? Buenanote. Mateus Nunes or Rogers? I think I would play Buenanote. Or sorry, Rogers, sorry. Why without Isaac? It's not because I'm without Isaac. It's because I'm going with Havertz. I decided to hold on to him. FPL NX says, have double Arsenal. Actually, I should be scrolling on Twitter just in case anything has come up. For anyone that doesn't know, my moderator George is on the case. He is always refreshing the timeline to see what's up. By the way, did anyone see our banger post? 8.4k likes. You know, I've not been recent on Twitter recently, I suppose. That's the best way to put it. And I decided to make a little post and I knew it was going to bang. And it banged. Good to see a lot of people using the laughing emoji. I feel like that's a small bit outdated. And a cry emoji, only 22%. But yeah, absolute banger of a post. And it is good now. Like, when you make relatable posts, they always do well, basically. Where are we? Let me do a scroll. Think Garnacho is a good boy? I don't think he's the worst boy. Definitely not a bad boy. I didn't mean a bad boy. I meant like a bad Boy. Let me stop. Start Oina or Rogers. Start Rogers. Wood for future transfer. Wood for future transfer. Yes. Are you scared of 8 Nori? Will he get booked? No, I'm not scared. And if he gets booked, I just play Miklenko. Game's the game. Start Semenyo or Smith Rowe? Semenyo. Son or Solanke captain? Solanke. By the way, please make sure you save your team. Again, I know anyone that is in here, you're probably diehard FPL fans. You wouldn't be listening to a niche FPL show if that was the case. You're no casuals. I assume no one in here is casual. Maybe that's bold to assume. Let me quickly make a post. My Twitter is absolutely done for. I'm going to have to do this off stream, it looks like. Lewis or Leaf Davis says... LOL 118. Lewis. Start Rogers or Andres Pereira? Rogers. Kuna captain, not for me. Start Rico Lewis or Milenkovic? Rico Lewis. Let me put a mill, just in case anyone gets a bit confused. Rolled. Dominic Solanke. Let me put a... I always spell his name wrong. Dominic. Yeah, okay. And then let's put a donkey emoji, will we? 1 minute until the deadline. Get locked in, lads. Thank you for joining me, by the way. Let me put a donkey emoji. Perfect. Love the team. Let's pray for another green. Best luck. I've Captain Solanke over Haaland for you, brother Shy. Live sneakers is not what I would have suggested, but I respect it, man. I respect it. And again, if it works out, it's on you, not me. It's your decision. And if it doesn't work out, it's definitely my fault. That's how it works, right? Love the team. Let's English, please. Let's pray for another green and best of luck. Love the team. Let's pray for another green and best of luck. Fire emoji. That's the most NPC tweet I've ever made, but let's post it. Let's go! Sorry for shouting down the mic. Okay, that's been another FPL Shy deadline stream. Of course, there is 1 minute till the deadline. Not to panicky, but again, please hit that like button. We're on our way to 10k slowly but surely. It is a bit down the line, but the goal will always be 10k this year. I enjoy these streams as usual. Few new faces in here. Sam Choi is in chat. My dad, he says, boy, hopefully you're on a green arrow this week. Good luck. Thank you, Dad. I'm really hoping DCL for 1 more week. Hoping I can get João Pedro for game week 12. I do like that as well. Even like Captain Solanke, let's go. Hat-trick incoming. I hope you're right, gang. I hope you're right. But yeah, it's been another amazing stream. Again, thoroughly enjoy it. Hope you don't mind the new setup. Of course, no green screen. Let me know, W or L chat. Maybe before we go, we will do a little poll on what you think we should do with the green screen. If you're sticking around, start a poll. Green screen. Yes to green screen. Keep green screen. Or get rid. Sorry, that mightn't make sense. Get rid of it. Okay. Keep like this. Or bring back green screen. Okay, quick little poll before we go. Top 10k soon. Yeah, that's the goal for me this season. I'm intrigued for you guys that are in here. Just let me know what you think. Keep it like this. Keep it like this. W says Roger McSweeney. Roger, send me on your number, by the way. Anyone that has become a channel member, be sure to send me on your number. I'll get you involved in the group chat. Chewy FPL and Liam, if you're in here, send me on. We'll get you involved. I should add my dad to that group as well, actually. Don't mind either, says Dan. Okay, sweet. That means I would go green screen list. Thanks, Shy. You're the best. I've learned a lot from you. Hope your season turns out great. Nada pip. How do I say that? Nada dip. Very kind words. Thank you. Wish you a green. And also, that's what I'm here for. You know, I'm not always going to have the greatest rank. There'll be times and blips in my season, but I've no doubt over the stem of a season, we will end up where we're meant to be, which is hopefully near the top of the tree. How do we send you our number? Ritvik, I want you to send me your number, or become a channel member first off, and then send me your number. It's just... Sweet Liam. It's just I want the guys who are most active in here. Like, I've commonly seen the same faces since I've started, to be honest. And also, yeah, it's for channel members. Thanks, Joy. No problem. Bring back the green screen, says Downtown. Downtown, man, you can't do this to me. I trust your opinion, but it looks like the poll is 80% on keep green screen now. I know there's only 31 votes, but still. Okay, we're going to wrap it up there, guys. Thank you for joining me for another stream. And as usual, I will see you in the next.